and against all odds, the Hardy Boys go to Las Vegas and uncover a gambling conspiracy. The dramatic finale occurs when Frank bets $400,000 in roulette. Just kidding, Against All Odds is the name of the horse.
Argo Funk Book Review, Argo Funk Book Review.
Just in time for the horse book, Joe's girlfriend Vanessa has developed an obsession with steeplechase races. Her favorite horse is the aging superstar Against All Odds. Odds owes most of his success to the fact that he has tunnel vision, so he isn't distracted when the people in the stands are watching My Little Pony episodes. We quickly meet everyone involved with the horse. Fast Nick the jockey, Colonel Burrows the owner, and Helen Papadoulos the fiancée. Just for reference, she is the Colonel's fiancée, not the horse's. Against All Odds wins the race, despite being spiked, and the Colonel decides to syndicate him. For those of you who don't speak horse, that means he's selling the champion horse at an auction. The horse is sold for $65,000, but not before Helen steals the microphone and complains that the Colonel canceled their wedding. Because whenever she has a bad breakup, she announces it at auction. That's why she's not allowed to have an eBay account anymore. Before you can say insurance fraud, the barn catches on fire and a little girl is trapped inside. Joe rushes in to rescue the girl. Frank decides, forget helping my brother and saving an innocent child, I'm gonna save the horse. I guess Frank cares more about horses than his brother. Bad news! The horse in the barn is not Against All Odds. Somebody switched horses, then set the fire in the barn to cover up the crime. The Hardys decide they have to solve this case, because if Joe doesn't find his girlfriend's favorite horse, he's getting dumped. They visit Fast Nick, who is angry and trigger-happy, literally. He pulls out a spear gun and threatens them. The Hardys smack him around for a bit until he talks. He says the horse was insured for $1 million. Half goes to Burrows and half goes to Helen. Hey, all of the characters in this book have a motive. Gee, I haven't seen that since the last Hardy Boys book I read. The Hardys visit Helen's house, but she's not home. Well, they drove all the way out here. There's no way they're going home empty-handed, so they break into the house. And they find evidence that Helen once dated Fast Nick. Before they can find anything else, they are attacked by a tiger. I'm serious. A tiger shows up and starts roaring. Later on, Helen says that the tiger is her pet and he's completely harmless. Sure he is. Helen was at the top of my suspect list, but the Hardys didn't really investigate her all that much because, well, Joe's girlfriend likes her and Joe's not going to argue with his girlfriend. I've noticed at this point that Vanessa is basically the main reason this book exists. She's also the one who solves the mystery. One of her horse magazines says that a mystery horse is going to debut in a race in Portugal soon. Vanessa has a full-size 3D model of Against All Odds on her computer, which is both creepy and convenient. So she proves the mystery horse is the kidnapped Odds. Frank's girlfriend is feeling left out, so she gets her own opportunity to solve the mystery. She and Frank discover that 6 big-name horses have died in mysterious accidents shortly after being auctioned by Lawrence Philpin. When confronted, Lawrence is angry and refuses to talk to our heroes. In these books, that's pretty much the same thing as admitting you're guilty. The culprit is busy throughout the entire book. They hire some hitmen to scare off the Hardys, and they shoot Fast Nick with his own spear gun. Fast Nick survives long enough to confirm that Philpin is the culprit. The Hardys track Philpin to his lair in the countryside, where he is hiding against all odds. Philpin takes Callie as a hostage and tries to escape on a motorcycle. Joe jumps on the horse and he chases after Philpin. Frank doesn't have a cool horse, so he steals a nearby bulldozer. I have to admit, this chase scene was super awesome. Way more awesome than it has any right to be, considering that our heroes just grabbed whatever random vehicles were lying around in the area. In the end, the Colonel decides to marry Helen again, probably because she threatened to sick her tiger on him if he didn't. They asked Vanessa to watch Against All Odds for the next few months, which means she most likely won't appear in the next several books. The end. Post-book follow-up. This book has a lot of scenes with the Hardys and their girlfriends discussing the case. It was a very different dynamic from the rest of the series, and I liked it. 4 teenagers solving a mystery together. It's like Scooby-Doo! It's not Frank and Joe doing top-secret government work by themselves, like everything else. The girlfriends really should appear in more books as fellow mystery solvers. I also like how this book is fast-paced. In the first third of the book, the Hardys question 5 characters in 2 chapters. The last Casefiles book I read would have taken 5 chapters to do this same investigation, so good pacing. I mentioned that Against All Odds was spiked in the race at the start of the book. I didn't go into detail because I have no idea what that means. It sounds like someone stuck a pin in the horse's foot, but that can't be right because the spike makes the horse bleed on the upper part of its thigh. Is it common for horses to bleed during races? No one seemed concerned about the horse's blood besides the colonel. The entire spike subplot confused me and it could have been explained better. I wouldn't get rid of it though, because it leads to a cool fist fight between the Hardys and the horse track security team. Overall, this is a good book. I was surprised at how much I liked it, considering that I have no interest whatsoever in horse racing. I'm tempted to give it a perfect score, but there are definite flaws, like a random tiger attack and how Vanessa coincidentally has the perfect evidence they need on 2 occasions. I give Hardy Boys Casefiles number 96, Against All Odds, a 9 out of 10.